Leaders, many of you today will become a leader, become a captain, and a leader of men. And a leader is someone who stands out in front of his men, but he doesn't get too far out to where he cannot hear their footsteps. In order to be successful in your position, you've got to be able to motivate people. I can remember when Cardinal O'Connor in New York, he served a memorial mass for my mother, and he wanted to see me. So I went into his office, and he said to me, he said, every time I hear you talk about motivation. Are you trying to tell us that you have to motivate players making $5 million, $10 million, $15 million a year? I said, that's right. I said, everybody in this country, from the president on down to the lowest job, at some time or another, needs to be motivated. He needs to get to believe he can be better than he usually is. And he said to me, when did you start feeling this way about motivation? I said, I remember the day that I could motivate players. I was managing Spokane of the Pacific Coast League, and we're playing in Tucson, and we had them beat 3-2. The bottom of the 8th inning, they had the bases loaded and 2 outs. And I had a left-hand pitcher named Bobby O'Brien on the mound. And I said, I'm going to go out there right now. I'm going to get this guy to believe that he can get this batter out. Because if he gets this batter out, we're going to win this ball game. So I went out to the mound, and I said, Bobby, if you could hear the voice of the big Dodger in the sky talking to you, and he said to you, Bobby, this is the last hitter you're going to face on earth, and you're going to die and come to heaven with me. I said, son, how would you like to go facing the Lord? Giving up a base hit or getting this guy out? He said, Skipper, I want to go facing the Lord, getting this guy out. I said, then how do you know that when you make that next pitch that you're not going to die? And if you are going to die, I want you to get this guy out. And I ran back to the dugout before I came in, and the guy got a base hit, 2 runs scored, and they went ahead. Now I got to go out and take him out. I said, son, what happened? He said, Skipper, you had me so afraid of dying, I couldn't concentrate on that hitter. So if I can get that guy to believe he's going to die, I sure as hell can get him to believe he can be a better player. So as a captain, you're going to be a leader. You're going to have to motivate people. You're going to have to make them understand what it's going to take for them to be best. You have to do everything in your power to represent the organization that you are representing. You must get the men to believe in themselves. Self-confidence is without a doubt the first step to success. And you have to make sure that they understand what you're trying to tell them. And that is very, very important. Because as a leader, people look up to you. They know that you have claimed a position that's very, very important in your field. So what you have to do is make sure that they believe in themselves. Because I had to motivate players. I had to motivate players making $10 million a year. You have to motivate them. You got to make them believe. And the way they can believe is because you are instructing them on the way to believe. So your responsibility as a captain is very, very important. And you must hold that position as a high success. You worked hard to become a captain. It just wasn't handed to you. You had to work to get it. And if you worked hard, it always pays off. So I look up to you, man, with so much admiration and respect. I know what you're going to be faced. I know what you do. I see you on television that you go into these fires and you do everything you can to save people's lives. So you got to be proud of yourself. You got to be proud that you can do that position for not just firemen, but for your country. You know, every once in a while I go get a lot of food and I go down to the firehouse and sit with the guys down there and have them fed, have a lot of laughs. So they were getting ready to go on an emergency call. So they said to me, "You want to come with us?" I said, "Sure, I'd like to come." We went to an old place, an old establishment that is home for the elderly people. And we got in there and there was this man, he looked like he was very close to death. And I stood in front of the bed and I started talking to him. And he raised up. He said, "Tommy Lasorda." Oh my God. He thought he was in heaven and I was there with him. So, the guy, all of a sudden he wakes up and he's okay. So the partner, we go right back to the firehouse again. But, you know, I have so much respect for you because you put your life on the line. Many of you have met death trying to help other people. That's the responsibility you're going to have. That's the responsibility you're going to have to do. You're going to have to lead men. You're going to have to make them understand what they're going to do to be the best. In order to be the best, self-confidence, you got to believe. I've got 64 years with the Dodgers. I've managed 20 years Dodger Stadium. And that's not something tough, because there have only been 4 guys in the history of baseball who managed the same team for 20 years or more. And I happen to be one of them. But I became a Hall of Famer. What did I do? I didn't pitch, I didn't hit, but I had men who did it. I had men who believed that they could do it. And that's what put me in the Hall of Fame, was my players. When you're a player, you can get in the Hall of Fame because of what you have accomplished. How many home runs did you hit? Or how many games did you win? But when you're a manager, it's up to those guys to put you there. And I told them when I first met with them, I said, "Gentlemen, I need you. I need you because I've got this job that I worked so hard to get. And I got the job, and because of the fact that I am your leader, you must understand this. You give it everything that you have day in and day out. You play for the name and the frame in front of your shirt, and not for the name on the back of your shirt. Because when you start playing for the name on the back of your shirt, you become an individualist. An individualism will win plaques, cups, or whatever. But playing for this name in the front of your shirt, you win championships. I've worn uniforms so much love for him. I was a Boy Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout laws, to help other people at all times, keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, brave, clean, reverent. Now, I don't remember the serial number of my rifle when I was in the Army. I didn't know what the number of my locker was when I was in school. But I remembered that Scout law, and I tried to live by it, because it meant something special to me. And then I wore the uniform of the greatest organization in baseball, the Dodgers. You know, when you hear somebody say, hey, I'm with the Padres, the first thing you say, when did you become a priest? Or somebody says to you, I'm a twin. You say, where's your brother or sister? Or someone says, I'm an Indian. You say, what reservation are you from? Another guy says, hey, I'm a cardinal. So the next step is to be the Pope. But when you hear that word Dodgers, you know immediately Major League Baseball and the best. We have a great, great run representing the greatest city in the game of baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And you're going to represent that uniform that you're putting on. You're going to represent it like it's something very special to you. You wear it with